Welcome to Writing Tips for Kids, an educational video course for aspiring kid authors. My name is Nick Goss. I'm an independent, self-published author and homeschool dad. And in this video, we're talking about how to start your stories off with a bang.
Subscribe. I can sense that you want to.
You see all these books behind me? I've read the first chapter of every one of those books. We all have a lot of books that we haven't read all the way through. Some books are just better than others. Well, what makes the ones you have read all the way through so good? Normally it's because the first chapter or couple of chapters were super exciting or interesting. So that brings us to tip number 1. Start your stories with action. Just like we started this video. We started it with an action scene. Start your stories with action. I like books that start with a great action scene. A big fight at the very beginning. Where you get to see the bad guy being the bad guy. And that brings us to tip number 2. Introduce your antagonist, the bad guy, at the beginning of the story. If you can do it in your first chapter, do it if you can. I suggest you start your stories off with action. A big action scene, a fight scene that shows the bad guy, the antagonist, winning the fight. You want to show the bad guy being the bad guy and winning that first fight in your book. And if you can put that in the first chapter, even better. That's going to hook your readers. That's going to make them want to know, man, who's going to beat this bad guy? How could he possibly be beaten? Or they might think, uh-oh, there's some serious bad news going on. There is some trouble in this world, in this universe that the writer is trying to tell me about. Introduce your bad guy in the first scene and show him winning a fight. And tip number 3. Don't make your bad guy so bad that he can't, at the end of the book, be turned into a good guy. It's one thing to beat the bad guy and defeat him. That's great. But in my opinion, what makes a book so good is when the bad guy can have a change of heart at the end. So don't make him too evil. Make him mean, make him bad, and make him totally evil in the very first chapter. But as the story goes on, make sure you've left enough room or left at least a little possibility that the bad guy could be redeemed or saved or have a change of heart. Ask yourself this question. What would the bad guy in your story have to do to be forgiven? A great example of this is, of course, Darth Vader, who is super bad during all of episode 4 and all of episode 5, and then most of episode 6, but at the end, he has a change of heart when he saves Luke from the Emperor. What would Darth Vader have to do to be forgiven? Usually the bad guy has to commit some sort of act of self-sacrifice where he gives his life for someone else, which is the total opposite of evil. If you can get your bad guy to do that, you've just created a blockbuster story. Can your bad guy be redeemed? If the answer is yes, you need to write that story. That's a great story. Alright, here's your pro tip. I want you to write a 3-chapter story. In the first chapter, I want you to show a bad guy winning a fight. In the second, and end it with a hook so people want to read the second chapter. And then in the third chapter, at the very end, I want you to show the bad guy having a change of heart and being redeemed. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a lot out of it. If you're a parent and you'd like to contact me about your child's writing, you can find me at facebook.com/Travelers League, or you can email me at travelersleague@gmail.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
You were foolish to resist, Jedi.